Hello fight fans, thanks for joining us at MMA Insider. Before we get rolling with today's news, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now let's uncover the latest happenings in MMA. Starting off, UFC CEO Dana White reacts after Conor McGregor hints at an August or September return. Moving on, pros react after Robert Whittaker KOs Ikram Aliskerov at UFC Saudi Arabia. Next, Khamzat Chimaev reacts to Robert Whittaker's KO win over Ikram Aliskerov at UFC Saudi Arabia. Lastly, Michael Chandler throws a shot at Conor McGregor as rivalry intensifies. UFC CEO Dana White has reacted after Conor McGregor hinted that he plans to return to the octagon in August or September. Conor McGregor was slated to return in the headliner of next weekend's UFC 303 event for a welterweight bout with Michael Chandler. Unfortunately for fight fans, a broken toe suffered in training camp forced McGregor to withdraw from the highly anticipated matchup. Conor McGregor was in attendance for today's Bellator Dublin event and told reporters that he plans to fight again in either August or September of this year. When asked about the Irishman's UFC 303 withdrawal, UFC CEO Dana White gave the following response. "Yay, it's been crazy, but it's always crazy if it's not these kinds of things, it is a lot of other things. It's the business that we're in." As for Conor McGregor's claim that he plans to be ready to return to the octagon in either August or September, Dana White shared the following sentiments. "I don't know right now. Yeah, you know our schedule is already laid out, so we'll see. I'm not doing anything until I know that Conor is healthy. It's not even worth talking about. You know, what about September? What about October? He's not ready, so why even talk about that?" Conor McGregor last fought back in 2021, where he was defeated by Dustin Poirier in their trilogy fight at UFC 264. McGregor suffered a broken leg in that contest and has been on the sidelines ever since. The last time the Irishman won a fight was in January of 2020 at UFC 246, when he defeated Donald Cerrone by first-round TKO. It will be interesting to see if Dana White and company do book Conor McGregor to fight before the end of 2024. Today's UFC Saudi Arabia event was headlined by a middleweight bout featuring Robert Whittaker taking on Ikram Aliskerov. Whittaker was returning to action for the first time since scoring a unanimous decision win over Paulo Costa this past February at UFC 298. The victory was of course preceded by a TKO loss to reigning middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis at UFC 290. Meanwhile, Ikram Aliskerov entered the contest having gone a perfect 2-0 since joining the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Tonight's UFC Saudi Arabia main event proved to be a one-sided affair. Robert Whittaker was able to hurt Ikram Aliskerov early and never took his foot off the gas. After landing a hard kick, Whittaker connected with a beautiful uppercut that sat the Russian down. A few follow-up shots was all the referee needed to see to step in and wave off the bout. Check out how the pros reacted to Whittaker versus Aliskerov below. Bobby does not look happy. Let's go Robert Whittaker. Bobby looks ready to run through a brick wall. Excited for this one, Bobby Nucks. What a legend, Robert Whittaker. Whittaker was a bridge too far for Aliskerov. Whittaker finishes him early in the first round. The veteran in Whittaker, knowing that the uppercut would eventually be there. That uppercut was nasty. Robert Whittaker is a beast, one of the best to do it. Stunning right hand, what a finish. Wow, what a performance by Whittaker. Khamzat Chimaev sent Robert Whittaker a message following his first round KO victory over Ikram Aliskerov at UFC Saudi Arabia. Chimaev and Whittaker were originally slated to collide in today's UFC Fight Night main event at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh. Unfortunately for fight fans, Khamzat had to withdraw from the matchup due to an undisclosed illness requiring hospitalization. With that, the UFC replaced Khamzat Chimaev with Ikram Aliskerov, who took the fight with Robert Whittaker on just 1 week's notice. Shortly following Robert Whittaker's emphatic win, Khamzat Chimaev took to X and delivered Whittaker the following message. "Congratulations, Robert Whittaker. We are not done. I wish you a speedy recovery, Ikram Aliskerov. Keep your head up, my brother." Khamzat has had a rough go of it as of late, battling COVID, now intestinal issues. But according to his management, he will indeed make his return to the octagon when he is healthy enough to do so. The 30-year-old last fought and defeated Kamaru Usman in October of 2023 at UFC 294. As for Robert Whittaker, the former middleweight kingpin is now on a 2-fight winning streak, having defeated Paulo Costa by unanimous decision this past February at UFC 298. Would you like to see the UFC rebook the Chimaev versus Whittaker matchup, or would you prefer something different for Whittaker following today's earning win? UFC star Michael Chandler has thrown a shot at Conor McGregor as their rivalry continues to intensify. As we know, Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor will not be facing off in the main event of UFC 303. This is due to an injury sustained by McGregor, with there being no word on when he'll be able to return. He did, however, make an appearance at a Bellator show over the weekend. He seemed to be in good spirits, and he made it clear that he wants to return as soon as possible. As we know, Chandler and Conor were supposed to have a press conference in Dublin ahead of UFC 303, but it never came to fruition. There are plenty of ifs, buts, and maybes right now. Alas, what we do know is that Chandler isn't happy, as you can tell by the following message. Here is what he said. Speaking of showing up to events, glad you finally made it to the 3 Arena where the press conference was supposed to be June 3rd. Sweet slippers. Who's the Bellator tick now? Everyone knows that Michael Chandler is a company man. In equal measure, he's also getting pretty tired of what's going on right now, and understandably so. Hopefully, for his sake, he's able to get back in the octagon sooner rather than later. As for the Irishman, when he does eventually step into the cage, you can bet that all eyes will be on the UFC once again. After weeks of speculation, Conor McGregor put an end to the mystery of what exactly caused his withdrawal from UFC 303. In a social media post on Friday, McGregor revealed that he broke his toe clean ahead of his now canceled main event matchup with Michael Chandler for the June 29th International Fight Week pay-per-view card. McGregor claimed he would just need a few more weeks to heal up, and then he would be ready to go against Chandler or somebody else. McGregor, the UFC's first ever simultaneous 2-division world champion, hasn't competed since suffering a horrific leg injury in a TKO loss to Dustin Poirier in the main event of UFC 264 in July 2021. The 35-year-old has lost 2 straight, both to Dustin, and 3 of 4, getting stopped in all 3 of his losses. McGregor is now looking for his first win since stopping Donald Cerrone in 40 seconds at UFC 246 in January 2021. Anything involving McGregor leads to responses from his fellow UFC fighters, including Islam Makhachev. See how the UFC lightweight champion and other pros reacted below. Do you think Conor McGregor's injury is serious enough that he had to leave UFC 303? Do you believe he's avoiding a fight with Michael Chandler? Write your opinion in the comments section. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Your dedication and support fuel our passion to bring you the latest and greatest in the MMA world. If you enjoyed today's news, please give us a thumbs up and share it with fellow MMA fans. Remember to subscribe to stay in the loop with daily MMA updates. We've got a lot of exciting news, interviews, and analysis coming your way every single day. Your engagement helps us grow and serve the MMA community even better. Once again, thank you for being an integral part of our daily MMA journey.